Ki Lashem HaMelucha. Ki Lashem HaMelucha. Ki Lashem HaMelucha. Moshe Vavagoyim Ve'oyo Hashem Melech Al Kol Ha'olam Melech Hoy 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 bayoim Yeh Hashem echad Yeh Hashem echad Shmo v'yechad Agut in Moed Rabbi Sai Beis Hashem, tomorrow, throughout the world, we're going to stop saying Tehillim after davening. The war is going to be officially over, and we're not going to say Tehillim anymore. But you probably noticed that a lot of people, 90% of the people, don't even say Tehillim now. And they haven't been saying in the last year. Why? Not because they don't think it's important, but they get used to it. You do it over and over. You forget that you're in a war. You forget. We're in a matzah milchama. People are dying all the time. We have threats from all over the world. Say a little Tehillim. No. It's a little bit extra, another 30 seconds. I can't do it. I'm also noticing we're sitting here in the sukkah. Mom is feasting on geschmacka bagels and lox. And we have somebody making omelets and pancakes on the spot to order. This is already the fourth, fifth day. You get used to even that. You get used to. It's crazy. We should appreciate it. We're sitting in the sukkah and the weather is beautiful. Mom is beautiful. And we're sitting in a beautiful sukkah. We're sitting with chaverim and eating geschmack of food and being mekayim a mitzvah of eating in the sukkah and learning Torah in the sukkah and sitting in Eretz Yisrael. So we have to appreciate it every day, all over again. All because of the people that built the sukkah, Elia, Turjuman, and his friends. And then we have all the tech guys who put together all this phenomenal tech and the signs and everything else. We have Avremi and Dave and Gary, they're right over there. And we have Akiva. Akiva was here already at 5 in the morning, putting the lox together, cutting the vegetables, cleaning up the sukkah. You know, maybe you don't know, but we had a massive kiddush here on Shabbos, and the sukkah had to be cleaned out. And for that, you have Oshi cleaning. Mamash by himself. Where is Oshi? Is he here?
We have Oshi and
Baruch and Koni. And Bekitzer, there's a lot of, who else? Akiva Cohen, Yishkoyach. Akiva, get over here. Come over here so you can say Shalom Aleichem to the Olam. So we can give you a Akaras HaTov. Show you. Even in Eretz Yisrael, we have geschmack bagels with real lox. Akiva Yishkoyach, thank you. Look at the camera, say hello. Hours upon hours every day. So Yishkoyach, thank you, Akiva. We just let him know. You should have seen his face. We said, you know what? On the schedule it says that tomorrow in the Beis Medrash at 10:15, meaning there's no breakfast, and we're going to be in the Beis Medrash. And during davening, well, towards the end of davening, it was actually during Tehillim. The first day, I'm out. I told Gary, it doesn't make any sense to do in the Beis Medrash. What if people come from Yerushalayim? What if so let's say we have 110 people, not 180 or 200 like we have on a typical day here. We're not going to have room. Let's do it in the sukkah. Let's bring food. So he goes and he tells Akiva, we're having breakfast tomorrow. He's like, huh? So Be'ez Hashem, Akiva's going to have the koiches. And we're going to get, I don't know what kind of food. It might not be like on this level, but we're going to have something at least to make a bracha, a sandwich. It's going to be stark. Says Gary, it's going to be stark. Okay. Come one, come all. Tomorrow it's Yontif. It's even a bigger Yontif than today. So Mela, Rabbi is going to be Gevaldik. Today's breakfast is sponsored by Gil and Chana Harris. Gil doesn't stop giving. He's buying, he's right over here. He buys TVs for the screens for different yeshivas, any yeshiva that wants to do remote. Just yesterday, 2 Rosh Yeshivas spoke to me about doing remote. It's Be'ezer Hashem, it's going to get in. It's going to, nobody wants to be the first. Nobody wants to be the Nachshon, unfortunately. But once it goes in, it becomes a little bit more standard. At night Seder, when the Bachrim are, half of them are in the dorm, whatever, here they enjoy learning together. L'schus, lirois nachas mikol yaldeim, v'akor satoy v'nakit l'rebeli v'chol tzevet shalem diY. Yishkoyach Gil, thank you. Our in-house jet pilot, who B'ezeh Hashem is going to take us on some geschmack trips to spread Torah in the world. Mordechai Sapaznik. Breakfast is also sponsored by Mordechai Sapaznik, leading Nishmas, Mark Kleiman, Mordechai ben Shir David, Halevi, Zechron Levarocha, Nishmas, Harold, Tzvi ben Menachem, Zechron Levarocha, participant of official Shachter's Shir. May the Neshamas have an Aliyah. Last Shabbaton we had official Shachter. He's amazing. Very, very funny person. Mazel Tov to Dovi Lighten on your bar mitzvah. A big MDY thank you to your father for his contribution to the Shir. He does something that everybody has enough from, but he wants to remain anonymous, so we're not going to discuss it. But the Olam has a tremendous akar satayv to him and Yishur Koyach. Last night in the Hebrew Shir, there's a person by the name of Hillel. I don't remember his last name anymore. Is he here? He's not here today. He was at the Hebrew Shir. He speaks English and Hebrew. He comes to a lot of Hebrew Shirim and English Shirim. And he came over to me before the Shir, and I asked him if he could speak in public. And he said no, he doesn't really want to. That's not his thing. I said, but you might encourage somebody. I don't know if I didn't see this yet. I asked the editors to throw in the speed. Let me just see what if you can hear him at all.
שנה ללמוד, להיות חלק מהקבוצה הזאת הנהדרת. אתמול סיימתי את השתיים מקרה אחד תרגום. 20 שנה שלא הצלחתי לסיים את ספירת העומר, סיימתי השנה בגלל זה. עכשיו השנה לקחתי על עצמי להוסיף רש"י. חומש רש"י. אז עשיתי את...
Okay, so what he's saying is that it's his first time in his life that he finished Shnai Mikra Vecha Targum, and he already finished, he immediately took upon himself to do it again this year with Rashi. The other thing that he said is that for 20 years he tried to do Sfiras HaOmer and he wasn't successful, and with MDY he was able, just how smaller things have helped him change his life, he said. So that's I want to remind Oilam again, if you haven't taken upon yourself to do Shnai Mikra Vecha Targum, now is a great time to think about it and set aside 7-8 minutes a day. That's all you need, and you'll be successful, Be'ezer Hashem. Last night, just going to throw out that last night, Pinchas Palak donated the meal, so yishkoyach to him. I don't know if we have a sponsor for tomorrow morning's meal because it wasn't on the... Oh, let me just show you this. Check this out. Rabbi Isai Tzav is up.
לא יורד. במיני ישראל, בדיוק, במיני ישראל.
This is the editing. So when you watch the shir edited, you get an extra bonus sometimes. I'm just showing you what. Lo yored. Shalom v'bracha, love your shir. If one makes a bayer pri agafen on wine and then drinks water, which I did last night in shir, the bracha shahakal is not said. Good moed. Shkoyach. What? But I didn't realize that I have water, so that's why it doesn't matter. Okay. So I made a mistake. I shouldn't have made a bracha shahakal. Very good. Okay, sponsors. The Masechta is sponsored by David Solomon, dedicated in memory of Imoiri Reb Shmuel Baruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Dov Zechron Levracha. Yesterday, Zevi Kamiansky performed at the Hatzalah, at the Ichud Hatzalah concert, and supposedly it was amazing. We'll have to see some clips. Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous. Lili Nishmas Doidi Shlemi Yehuda Zechron Levachim and Shmuel Chaim Zechron Levachim Shakav Elam and Kachim Kolchayov. Anonymous the Schos Refor Shlema Nachman Tzvi Ben Yenta. All these sponsors paid $9,000 to sponsor the Masechta, sponsored by Skyber Capital in honor of our friends Meir Kovacs, Taki and Shamshi Shlavrak for the devotion to Torah studying this year. Joel Gedalis Lili Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalis, Anonymous Atzlocha Baruchni Zubagashmias. NY Coffee Corner month. Rivka and Dr. Avram Epstein daven for a complete and speedy recovery for Dr. Harold Goldmeyer. Week Anonymous Refuah Shlema for Dina Bat Esther Refuah Shlema. Monthly sponsors Anonymous from London Parnos B'Shefa Yuda Lushinsky in honor of my father Yogi. 6th cycle of the Daf. Your big heart and giving to the community is an inspiration for all of us. Anonymous Brochad B'Lidai Yudim Yom Milchava and Baruch Tzvi Nisim Ben Shoshana Leah. Anonymous, Lashon Tova Metuka L'Schus Aliyob and Chayz Dvoira, and in honor of my Chavrusa Simcha Leb, Benzin Glicksman, Mazel Tov to Talia on her 12th birthday, 12th of Tishrei, urgent for Shlema for Chaim Yosef and Aryeh Ben Sar Rezel. Weekly sponsors, HWK Ventures are for Shlema for Elka Bas Chana. Anonymous, in the merit of Bracha, Bat Chana for good health, Amen. Rabbi Isai, because, what's his name? Leibowitz. What's his first name? Shimi Leibowitz, thank you. He's in America, so a lot of the sponsors came after Yontif in America, so there's 10 of them here, all piled up. Dan Rubinoff, in honor of my mother's 36 yard side, Lili Nishma, Simi Mirasi, Penina Chaya Perel Bas Yaakov Moshe HaKohen, Yuda and Michelle Mann, L'chvoy, the first yard side of Yigal Yisrael HaKohen, Salik, whose precious Nigunim inspire Yidden forever. His daughter lives right over here next to us. She's inspired by our Nigunim every day. Maybe we should sing him Shtikova Samachta? No. Shlavrak family, Zeichen Nishmas, their father and grandfather, Yomen Ben Shamshin, Zechron Levach Benny Rubenfeld, on his 26 yard side. Everybody, no, Be'emes. Maybe there's a good niggin from Rabbi Salik. Chaya, Yazamro Eloi Kaibi, Yoidi, Yerav, Love of Sichi. Anoichi esmach b'Hashem. Oy everybody, Oshiro Lashem b'chayai. Azamno lelukai be'oidi. Yerav alavov sichi. Anoichi esmach. Yitamu chatoy menoret. Yitamu chatoy menoret. Shoy my dayna bolchina shis Hashem. Oy oy yitamu chatoy menoret. Shoy my dayna bolchina shis Hashem hallelujah. Yigal Yisrael HaKohen. Shirav Eli Neshama. Shlavah family Zeichen Nishmas, their father and grandfather Yom Ben Shamshin Zechron Levach Benny Rubenfeld on his 26 yard side. Abe and Sherry Belsky, in memory of our son Simcha Beryl David Ben Avram Moshe. Our chairs in the base marriage are donated. Leilu Nishmasa, his neshama should have an aliyah, and then a family should have an achama. Shimi Braun, L'chvoid Moiri Rabbi Rebelli Shlito, L'chvoid Ushpizin da Aaron, Shimin Aaron, Shkoyach Reb Shimi, Menachem Broner. In honor of my late mother's 41st yard side, Miriam Bas Rebbe Alexander. He's here in the sukkah. Shkoyach, he's an acoustic specialist. And one day, Be'ezer Hashem, we'll be able to use your services in a new base medrash or who knows where. Simcha, Lili Nishma Shlomi Friedman, Avram Shlomo Ben Moshe, first yard side, 20th of Tishrei. From Bella and all your family, in honor of Duvi Leighton's bar mitzvah, Chav Tishrei, happy birthday, Dovi. We're so proud of you. 6/7/13. Dr. Mark Berkson, in honor of my daughter, Shoshana Miriam's 13th birthday, Mazel Tov. Anonymous, Mazel Tov Menachem and Chani Schwartz on your baby girl. She's so lucky to have you as her parents. Mazel Tov. Anonymous, Refuah Shlema to Aliza Chana Bas Naomi, a young mother that needs Rachmei Shomayim. She should have a Refuah Shlema B'Korov. Monthly Refuah Shlema Yonatan Etam Mebeshav Bracha. Refuah Shlema Mordechai B'Esther. I wish I could see him in the sukkah. L'Refuas Ayelet Daniel Zev Ben Ayelet Esther. Everybody said we're holding Daf Chov Zayin Amud Beis by the Mishnah. Anybody a guest there? I see there's a guest. Mendy, who's this tzaddik next to you? Shalom Aleichem. You're the genius behind the genius. This guy's about Kishrin. Wow. Okay. It's an honor to meet you. Mendy is one of the best learners in the Hebrew Shir that I know of. Like he's mamish on the ball. Unbelievable. He's Benny's brother-in-law. Says a schus. He always comes on Friday when I'm least prepared, and then he gets me. He doesn't do it. Shkoyach. Who else is a guest here? We have any guests? These guys. You're from Muncie, you said. What's your name? What's your name? Meyerfeld? Meyerfeld. Something like that. Yes. And that guy? He's your brother? Brother-in-law. Where are you from? Yeah. Muncie. Also Muncie. What's his name? Avrami. I got it. Okay. From Lakewood. And you're from Muncie. Got it. Who else? What's your name? You're Yoni Shapiro. From? And you are? Brothers. From? Very nice. Shalom Aleichem. Anybody else? You look like a guest. What's your name? Sternberg? Shalom Aleichem. And you? Alex Katz. And who's that guy? Azriel? How did I hear that? Wow, unbelievable. And you? Salak? Like Sela. Okay, Shalom Aleichem. From? Don't tell me Los Angeles or something. Really? Wow, Los Angeles. Wow. Who's Yehuda Sternberg? Shalom Aleichem. How do I know you? How do I know him? He does? Really? I see you around. That's the thing. I saw you. Shalom Aleichem. And who's the guy all the way who's next to Yeshua Aaron Price? Zimberg. From? Shalom Aleichem. Okay, Gewaldig. Yeah. Oh, what's your name? You tell me his name. What's his name? Pinky Wiederman. From Muncie, New York. Nobody look at Pinky Wiederman. Begonov. You come to the sukkah, that's it, you're toast. The whole world is going to be texting you. Anybody know Pinky Wiederman? Please text him right now. He was spotted at MDY, Nebuch. Shirley Bornstein, please text Pinky right now. Do you do a share? Is that what happened? Okay. Shkoyach for coming to the sukkah, Pinky. Who's that guy next to you? What's your name? Chaim. You related to that's your father? Awesome. All right. Here we go. We have a Mishnah. Today, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of Pigul and Chutz Zman. Those are two thoughts that a person has while he's doing the Avodah, he's performing the Avodah. He thinks there's actually a medrash that says it never happened. Pigul never happened. Somebody sent me a medrash last night. That Pigul, that no Kohen ever thought himself that I'm going to throw this blood Mechutz Zman. That's what it says. I don't know. I'll call upon him. We're going to go into it, explain what it is, how does it work, a few things, because we discussed it a bunch of times, a few things that we know about Pigul and Mechutz Zman, Chutz Makom. Pigul, that the Gemara calls Pigul, is Chutz Zman, meaning, as you're shechting the animal, as you're receiving the blood, as you're doing halach, as you're sprinkling it, you're thinking to yourself, you're going to eat this meat outside that a lot of time. Instead of being able to eat it 2 days, you say, I'm going to eat it in 3-4 days from now. That's Pigul. Then you go ahead and you eat it. It doesn't matter when, even right now, even inside the time, you go ahead and eat it, you get kares. The same thing, if you think to yourself, I'm going to sprinkle the blood, that's a type of eating, that's the eating of the Mizbeach. That's eating number 2. Eating human eats, and then there's the Mizbeach eats. Sprinkling blood. I think to myself, I'm going to sprinkle this blood in 3 days from now. That's Pigul. If I go ahead and I eat it right now, I'm over on Pigul and I'm Chayiv Kares. That's Kares. Very, very similar, but you're not Chayiv Kares. It's Chutz Lamakom. I think while I'm doing this Rika, I'm going to be eating this animal outside of Yerushalayim. Outside of the Beis HaMikdash, if it's one of these animals, one of these korbanos that only belongs to the Beis HaMikdash. That makes it possible, but you don't get kares. Says the Mishnah, Hashoichet es hazevach, yishech the carbon, lizroik domoy, bachutz. So bachutz, that's already the category of chutz la makoim, not zman. Makoim, it's a place outside of Yerushalayim, outside of the Beis Hamikdash. Or makes as dame b'chutz. So the entire mission is going to have this wording, either the whole thing or even part of it. Lahakderi mura of b'chutz. I'm going to put the parts of the animal that go to the Rebbeinu Shalom the Mizbech. I'm going to do it outside in Bet Shemesh, not in the Beis Hamikdash. Or he makes a mura b'chutz. Again, the same wording, or even part of it. Lechol besar b'chutz. What karbanos do you eat? Well, the kachik kalim you eat. Maybe the karban chatas, part of it you eat. So it must be talking about something like shlomim, that you get to eat the meat. So he's thinking to himself, I'm going to eat it outside of the Beis Hamikdash, outside of Yerushalayim. If it's a shlomim, he has to think outside of Yerushalayim, because you're allowed to eat the shlomim in Yerushalayim. Or kizayis mibsar b'chutz. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, even part of it. Oy lechol kizayis ma'ora alyo b'chutz. Or he thinks to himself, I'm going to eat one kizayis of the hide of the alyo. The alya, because we're going to be talking about the alya now. A little bit of a sugi about alya. Here it goes. Rabbi say, pay attention to the screen. Here's alya. If you're listening to this on Spotify, I feel bad for you. You see how long their tails are? That a normal sheep has that. Today they cut it. They do some sort of trick. So after shechted, it's all fat. Look at that. And that's considered, even today, what is it called, Benny, today? Liya in Hebrew. They sell this stuff. This is big stuff. So that goes on the Mizbeach, if it's from a sheep. So if you eat, now the discussion is, that's the fat. You saw the fatty stuff? Okay, but what about the hide that goes around, that covers it? It's very, very soft. It might be edible. So that's a little bit of a discussion in the Gemara. That's the first sugya. But what does it say in the Mishnah? Le'echol, oy le'echol kizayis me'ora alyo, to eat a little bit of the hide, not the fat, the hide of the tail, b'chutz. That's a human eating the hide, which is a little interesting. The Gemara is going to discuss. Let's point it out now so we could do a little bit of a chazara. If the hide on the tail has to go onto the Mizbeach, so what does this guy think to himself? He's eating it. He's going to make a nice bar. It belongs on the Mizbeach. The question is, could I think that I'm going to eat a barbecue on a piece that really belongs on the Mizbeach? I'm mixing two types of eating. There's the eating of the Mizbeach, this tail goes on the Mizbeach, and there's the eating of the barbecue. And if I think in my mind, I'm going to eat something that really belongs on the Mizbeach, but I'm going to eat it on my barbecue, mehecha tasted that spiegel. Who said that spiegel? If it's the part of the animal that I'm supposed to be eating, the steaks that I'm supposed to be eating, and I think I'm going to eat it in 3 days, that's pigel. Well, let's say the kidney is supposed to go on the mizbeach, and I think to myself, I'm going to eat the kidney at my barbecue. Who said that's pigel? I'm doing something wrong, but who said that's pigel? So that's the discussion in the Gemara also. Puzzle, vein by karas. Why are all these things that we just mentioned no karas? Because they're all in the category of chutz la makom. Chutz la makom becomes puzzle if you think about that thought during one of the avodas, but ein bekaris. Now we're moving over to chutz lazman. What's chutz lazman? Lizroik dami lemacher. As the kohen is performing one of the avodas, let's say he's doing shchita, and he thinks to himself, I'm gonna sprinkle the blood on the mizbeach, not now, not today, tomorrow. That's chutz lazman, and that you get karis for. Mixas dam l'macher doesn't have to be all the blood; it could be part of the blood. Lahakti remur l'macher. It's the same thing as the reisha chutz l'makom. Just the thought is slightly different. He's thinking about outside of it's a lot of time. Here, let's do this for a second so we don't forget. Here, this is chutz l'makom. It's outside of the walls of Yerushalayim. What's this? Let's do the next one. Hold on. Is Aliyah okay? Okay. Pigul Aliyah. Aliyah.
I bring the best parts of the lamb to the Shabbat table.
Okay, so this is supposed to go on the Mizbeach, and this is Chutz L'Makom. This is not Chutz L'Zman. Yeah? I don't know what it is. It's not really pigul. It's chutz zman. Maybe he thought. No, he said he's bringing the Shabbat tail, so that's chutz l'mokim. Says the Gemara. Mishnah. Emor l'mochar mixas emor l'mochar. Lechol b'sari l'mochar. He says I'm going to eat this meat tomorrow. Or kizayis b'sari l'mochar. I'm going to eat it, a little bit of it tomorrow. Or lechol kizayis ma'or hal l'mochar. Over here, he's talking about eating part of here. That's what we just saw. I'm going to eat a kizayis of the hide of the aliyah, the hide of the tail tomorrow. All those are pigul. V'chayavim olav kares. Since it's pigul, you get kares. Let's say he thought to himself he's going to eat another part of the hide. Let's say the hide of the leg. He's going to eat tomorrow. Is that pigul? No. What? It's not ro'el achila. The only one that's ro'el achila that we know of right now is the hide that's very soft on the tail, and that's why it's pigul. Says the Gemara. Savrua, we thought, the Gemara understands, or aliyah kaliyah, dummy. The hide of the sheep, that's the skin on the tail is like the tail, and therefore, if you have to put the tail on the mizbeach, you have to also put the skin on the mizbeach. So he's supposed to put it on the mizbeach. What did he think? Instead of saying I'm going to put it on the mizbeach, he thought to himself, I'm going to eat it. What's going on here? He's thinking about eating it when it's really supposed to be eaten by the mizbeach, so to speak. Our Mishnah goes like Rebbe Eliezer. You could make that switch. They're interchangeable. I can think to myself, I'm going to eat something that really belongs in the mizbeach. Let's say it's a geshmaka part of the animal that the kohen gets to eat, the Yisrael gets to eat, and he thinks to himself he's going to put it on the mizbeach tomorrow or in 3 days from now. That's also a way to do pigul. It's not supposed to go on the mizbeach at all? No, he thought it. Okay? Says the Gemara. Snan, we learned. Let's say during the shechita he thinks to himself he's going to eat part of the animal that's supposed to go on the mizbeach, like these guys right over here. All these 3 things are supposed to go on the mizbeach. It's mamish kachim. He thought he's going to eat it in his barbecue. Lahaktir dover shein darki lahaktir, or fakert. It's a nice steak that's not supposed to go on the mizbeach, and he decided he's going to put it on the mizbeach kosher. Rebbe Eliezer says no. You're able to mix those things up, and it makes the animal possible. It makes the carbon possible. Says the Gemara, very good. So you want to say that the Mishnah Daf Amud Beis goes It goes like Rebbe Eliezer. Rebbe Eliezer says you could interchange the two achilos, the achila of the person, the achila of the mizbeach. The problem is Eimim Seifa. We're going to learn tomorrow. Daf Amud Beis, which is the continuation of our mission. The Gemara calls it the Seifa. Eimim Seifa Zaklal starts out the Mishnah. In other words, you do one of the 4 avodas: shchita, kabbalah, haylacha, zrika, lechol davar shedarka lechol lakti davar shedarka lakti, with the intent to eat something that the derech is to eat. You're doing what you're supposed to do. But it says davar shedarka lecholin. It's only talking about something that's the derech to eat. Shein darka lecholoi. The Mishnah doesn't discuss anything that's not the derech to eat, and that is not Rebbe Eliezer. That's a son Rabbanan. That's the one who argues on. Those are the ones who argue on Rebbe Eliezer. They hold you can't mix the 2 up. So what's going on here? The Mishnah Daf Amud Beis, Reisha Rebbe Eliezer. That goes like Rebbe Eliezer. V'Seifa, the Mishnah Chav Amud Beis, which probably I didn't open up. But if you open up one of those Mishnayos, they're probably going to be together. And it's a Reisha and a Seifa. So the Mishnah of Chav Amud Beis goes like Rabbanon. How could that be? How could the beginning be Rebbe Eliezer and the Sefer Rabbanon? Omer Le'in, yes, that's how it is. You're going to have to live with it. Or Ravuna Omar, or Alya Lav Kal Yadami. So we just had Shmuel. Shmuel says that the hide, the skin that's on the tail, is like the tail. And he has to say, well, what's going on here? How could you think about eating it as a barbecue when the skin is like the tail, and the tail we all know goes on the mizbeach. This tail of the sheep goes on the mizbeach. It's a beautiful part of that goes on the mizbeach. It goes on the mizbeach. How could you think that it's a barbecue? How could you mix the 2 things? It's b'chashim achilas mizbeach l'achilas adam, like Rebbe Eliezer. That's him. Or we could say that the height of the tail is not like the tail. And memela what? It doesn't go on the mizbeach. And that's why when he thinks about eating it on his barbecue, that's the proper thing to think about, because it's supposed to be on a barbecue. The height of the tail does not go on the mizbeach. Where does it go? It goes in your stomach. And memela, when he thinks to himself that he's going to eat it outside the allotted time, that's pigul. Ravuna Amar Oral Yilav Kal Yadami. Omar over my time in the Ravuna, where did he get his thought? Chel boya alya. It says the fat of the alya. Notice the fat. That's what we saw in the video. The fat of the alya. V'loy or alya doesn't include the skin. Rav Chizda Omar lo'ilam or alya kal yadami. Oh, so comes Rav Chizda. Check this out. Here's Rav Chizda. No. The skin of the tail is like a tail. The Mishnah says that he thought about eating it. Yeah, because we're not talking about a sheep. We're talking about a goat. Our Mishnah must be talking about a goat. Now, why doesn't he say like Shmuel? Isn't it better to say Mechashim Achilas Sodom Achilas this? No, it's not better. The Gemara is going to explain why each one says what they say. Again, Rav Chizda Amar Lo'ilam or Halyo Kal Yadami. The skin of the tail is like a tail, and therefore what he goes on the mizbeach, if it's a sheep. Just what? And then you had a problem. If it goes on the mizbeach, how could he think about that he put it on his barbecue? You can't mix the two. There's two different eatings. You're right. You can't mix the two eatings. Only Rebbe Lezer holds that. We hold it like Rabbon, you can't. But we're not even talking about a sheep. We're talking about a goat. So the Gemara just explains, now that we see the thing on the screen, Kulu k'shmul le'amri. How come Rav Chizda doesn't say like Shmuel? It's pretty convenient. You could mix the two thoughts of Achilas Mizbech and Achilas Adam, and we're talking about a sheep. Everything is great. You know why they don't hold like Shmuel? Kulu k'shmul le'amri, Reisha, Rebbe Lezer, v'sever Rabbanon, le'mukmi. It doesn't make sense to them that the Reisha, the Mishnah on Daf Chav Zayin Amud Beis is going like Rebbe Lezer, and the Mishnah on Chav Tes Amud Beis goes like Rabbanon. That doesn't work. How come everybody doesn't hold like Ravuna that says or alya laf kalya? No, what's the obvious answer? Because they don't hold that. They like to say or alya kalya, that the soft skin of a tail is like a tail. Ravuna says the soft skin of a tail is not like the tail. They don't like that. They like to hold that the skin of a tail is like a tail. So now how come Shmuel and Ravuna don't hold like Rav Chizda? Just say that the skin of the tail is like a tail. And the reason why our Mishnah says that he thought about making a barbecue, even though it's different than making a barbecue, because the skin goes on the mizbeach, not a barbecue, the answer is that's by a sheep. But our Mishnah is not talking about a sheep. Our Mishnah is talking about a goat. Here we have actually a picture. Here are the two tails. The one on the left is a goat. It has no fat, it has nothing. So you're not supposed to put it on the mizbeach at all. And Memela, our Mishnah is talking about that. And that's why he thought about making a barbecue out of it. And that's why it's pigul, because it's actually something you put on the barbecue. But the picture on the right is the fatty tail of a sheep. That doesn't go on a barbecue. That goes in the mizbeach. That's why it doesn't fit into our Mishnah. I'm sorry. Rav Chizda says we're talking about a goat. My time Michael Mashma, what is he coming to say? Or Al Yakal Yadami. He wants to tell us this idea that the skin of the sheep's tail is like the tail. Tanina, we already learned it. When it comes to Tumah, there's a whole Mishnah that says same kipsar. These are the skins that are like the meat when it comes to Tumah. And he goes on to say, or shetachas alyo. So we already know this idea that the skin, the hide, is mamish like the tail. No, so if we already have it, so then why is Rav Chizda saying, why is he being maimed our Mishnah that we're talking about that the skin is like the tail and it's talking about a goat? We already spoke about it, but when it comes to Tumah. That's only when it comes to Tumah because it's very soft. So it's that's only in Hilchos Tumah. But here, where was that? We had a little bit of a video. Oh, here we go. On the menu, you have the skin of a goat, of a sheep.
אוי, זה טעים, זה רך. אוי, זה מגעיל.
It's not something a king eats. L'mashcha, l'gdula. Kamash Milan doesn't matter that kings don't eat it. Great. What does Rav Chisda say? Let's go back to our chart. Rav Chisda is the one that says that that the skin of the tail is like the tail, and therefore it should go on the mizbech. But our mission is not even talking about a sheep; we're talking about a goat. Ask the Gemara Meisvei. So this is a key word here for this whole thing. Don't get confused. We're talking about an oila. What's an oila? An oila is a carbon that one brings to the Rebbeinu Shalom as a gift sometimes, most of the time, and the entire thing goes on the Mizbeach. You don't get anything. Nobody eats a thing. Not a Kayan, not a Yisrael. Nobody eats one morsel of this oila. Kulu Hashem. And he had in mind that he's going to eat one kezayis of the hide that's under the tail, outside of its place. So outside of its place, what's the halacha? Apostle. There's no kares. Vein by kares. But if he thought chutz l'zmanoi, pigul v'chayim alav kares. Typical pigul case. Typical chutz l'makim case. Oh. But it says over here, kezayis mitachas l'or alyo. Mitachas alyo. The skin of the hide goes on the mizbeach. Elazar ben Yehuda ish avelim oimer mishum Rabbi Yaakov v'chen oimer mishum ben Yehuda shkfar ikos oimer mishum Rabbi Shimon. They say in the name of Shimon. Echador base parsois behemadaka. Whether it's this, take a look. If you don't like these kind of pictures, don't look. This is the skin of a smaller animal like a goat or a sheep. Here it is on the right side by Rav Weisfish. She sent it to me this morning. Here's the skin. V'echador aroish shalego. These are all softer skins. If you have a soft skin of a calf, that's the head on the head, it's very soft. V'echad or shtachas alya. And also included is the skin, the hide that's under the tail. That's the Mishnah over there by Tuma, all the soft skins. Lahavi arshal beis. This is by a female animal. And the private parts, that skin's also. So at the end of the day, we're talking about a noila. A noila could only be a zachar. But it also, if you have another carbon that has softer skin, chusam kaimai, pasavay mekaris. If a person thinks to himself he's going to eat this outside of its place, it becomes possible, no cars. But the bottom line is, oila in avazevach loy. It says in the beginning, oila, we're talking about an oila. What about other karbanos? According to Rav Huna says what? Let's go back to our chart. Rav Huna says, or alya is not like the alya. The skin is different. And memelo what? The only carbon in the world that you put the skin of the tail on the mizbeach is what? An oila. Because the entire thing goes to Hashem. That's according to Rav Huna. Why? Because the skin is not like the tail. So give me another example of a carbon that you put the skin of the tail on the mizbeach. The skin is not like the tail. So why would you put it on the mizbeach? Even a carbon that you put the tail on the mizbeach, you don't put the skin on the mizbeach. It's not part of the carbon that goes on the mizbeach. The oila, yes. Okay, so that's why it says oila. But according to Rav Chisda, that says that the skin of the tail is like the tail. So there's many animals that you put the tail on the mizbeach, and that includes the skin. So then why does it say oila? It should say all karbanas. The skin goes on the mizbeach. Rav Chisda says that the skin and the tail are one. So once you put the tail on, you put the skin on. So why do you have to say you're talking about a case that the guy thought to himself he's going to eat the skin of the oila outside his mouth? No, he's going to eat the skin of a shlamim, let's say, outside the allotted time. Listen to Zevach, all karbanos. Oh, because we're talking about the tail of a goat. And the tail of a goat never goes on the mizbeach. You're asking me all karbanos the tail goes on the mizbeach? No, not goats. Only sheep, and we're talking about goats. You're 100% right. It should really say zevach. You're right, it's a mistake. It shouldn't say the word oila. Let's erase and put a new word in called zevach. It means karbanos. Next. Rabbi Isai, here goes. Simple sugya. I like the sugya a lot because it shows us the back and forth, the depths of how the Gemara works. We have a pasuk. If you were to read this pasuk by yourself, right over here, we call this the aruch. It's a long pasuk. We also have a short pasuk. It's not called Kotzer, it's called Gdoshim because it's in Parshas Gdoshim. These pasukim say the same thing basically, but we're going to use both of them. Let's read the first pasuk, the Aruch. And we're going to be talking about this extensively today, this whole pasuk. But look how fascinating this pasuk is. If I were to tell you there's 8 chidushim in this pasuk, you would not know where to start and how to find these 8 chidushim. But that's how it is, this pasuk. So if you don't believe in the Torah Sheba'al Peh, in the Gemara, you got nothing. You don't know what's going on here. So thankfully we have a Torah Sheba'al Peh, and it explains us every word, what's going on, what is it referring to. Let's read it together. Let's see if we can come up with anything. We know that all korbanos, they're good for 1 day or 2 days max. Let's say shlamim, 2 days. 2 days and a night. What's Bayoim HaShlishi? Bayoim HaShlishi means outside the allotted place or time? Time. So Bayoim HaShlishi means the time. He thought about eating it outside of the time. Now how do you know it's talking about thinking? Maybe it's talking about eating. Because that's what it says. Talking about eating. This whole pasuk is telling us about thinking about outside its allotted time, and outside its allotted place. Where do you see place over here? Lo yiratza. It's not a good carbon. Hamakir Voisai, the guy that brought it, he brought a carbon, no good. The Kohen did him good. The Kohen got a good one on him. The Kohen hates him. They have a feud. They live in the same building. He sees him. Here he is. This Meshugano made a Simchas HaChag till 3 in the morning. I'm going to show him. I like your carbon. Shalom Aleichem. What is this? This is a shlamim. Okay. All he has to do is think in his mind, I'm going to eat the shlamim next year. This guy just lost $500 and he doesn't get a kapara. He has to come back again. Or he thinks to himself, I'm going to eat it in Bet Shemesh instead of in Yerushalayim. So how do you see it? Lo yiratza makir v'yisai. The guy that brought the carbon doesn't get a kapara. Lo yichashav lo. And here it is, Rabbi, here it is. Pigul yiyah. We know, but I mentioned this already a number of times. You got to mention it again. Pigul in the Gemara means chutz la zman. Pigul in the Torah means chutz la makom. That's how it goes. That's how it works. I'm not sure why. So Pigul Yiyah is referring to chutz la makom. And then the pasuk finishes off. V'anefesh oicheles mimenu. If the one who eats it, which one? You just mentioned 2 things. Chutz la zman, chutz la makom. Which one do you think it goes on? You already know the answer. It goes on chutz la zman, but mechatesa. Maybe it's chutz la makom, which is what we're talking about right now. It's within a few words. Avono tisa means kares. How do I know kares? Because I don't know anything from this pasuk. It doesn't say kares here. It doesn't say what it's talking about. It's really a big, I don't know if riddle is the word. It's a enigma. It's a conundrum. Nothing goes over here. Nothing. So I need Moshe Rabbeinu to tell me that he heard from HaKadosh Baruch Hu pshat in this pasuk, and Moshe Rabbeinu told Yeshua, and then it came down to the Gemara, and they wrote it down. So says the Gemara, Pasol ve'im b'ikaris. This thing called chutz la makom, if the kohen has a thought that he's going to eat it outside of the allotted place, the place he's supposed to, it becomes possible you don't get kares. Says Gemara Manani Mili. Where'd you get this from? So now the Gemara is going to show us the behind the scenes. Yeah, I could be a Shulchan Aruch and I can tell you, here, this is the pasuk A, B, C, D. That's at the end of Daf Amud Beis. Today, Beis Hashem, we're going to get there. This word says this word says this, and don't ask any questions. But now this is the behind the scenes. How do we get to it? There's 2 psukim. This is the long one that we just saw, and there's one more called Gedoshim, the short pasuk. There's also, this is a little bit of a jump, but I want to talk about it because it is Sukkos. The guys with the frocks, but I don't really mean that. I mean, there's the short ones and the tall ones. They're the ones that are full of Torah mitzvahs, and then you have the short ones. And Sukkos teaches us that we take the arba minim. Arba minim, what are the arba minim? You have the esrog that has a good taste or a taste and a good smell. You see these guys, they buy the $500 esrog, and the first thing they do, they smell it. That's all they know. Smell. They don't know if it has whatever. But it has a good taste. The lulav has good taste. It has the dates, the lulav, but it doesn't have a good smell. And you have the adasim that have a good smell, but no taste. And then you have the aravis, they don't have anything. The Gemara tells us, why do we say al netilas lulav? Al netilas esrog. Isn't that the most? That's what we pay the most for. That's the one we're so makbid on. That's the one you hold by itself. Because the lulav represents Torah. Torah. The taste is Torah, the smell is maisim tovim, mitzvahs and everything. And Torah is the most important. Yes, you have somebody that has Torah and chesed and stuff, but Torah is more important. Then you have the guy that's a big bal chesed, that Tzala guy, he runs on all the calls, saves lives every day, CPR, the whole thing. Baruch Hashem, we're getting to them. Groups of 350, the chesed guys, but you got to stick in some Torah also. Then you have the Amaritzim. The Amaratzim. They don't do anything. No chesed, no Torah. They're not even Atzala. And that's what Sukkot tells us. That without those Amaratzim, just the Gdoilim, just the people that learn Torah, that's not Klal Yisrael. Mashiach's not going to come just with them. We need everybody. We need the Aravis. We need, if you're going to do Netilas Esrog just by itself, nothing. Zero. You're going to do you need everybody. You need all types. And that's MDY. Boys, that's MDY. We have all the types. We have the beginners. We have the Talmidei Chachamim, the Mendes, Mendes' father. Huh? Chag Osif. It's a continuation of that other Dvar Torah from Mendes' father, not this Mendes' father, that Mendes' father. I said in the name of Mendes' father, Chag Osif, the Sukkah, the hug of the Sukkah, the Vilna Goin. The Sukkah comes and it's two hands and a tefach. Two walls and a tefach is the hug, is a hug. It's the hug of the Rebbeinu Shalom. In the Sukkah, the Rebbeinu Shalom is hugging us with these beautiful walls, these white walls, and all types of Yidden in here. The Ktsarim and the Arukim, the Adasim and the Aravis and the Esrig and the Lulav. Then, when we have that, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to bring Mashiach B'Korov. So Zok the Gemara. Ve'ema. Somebody came over to me last night and told me a good word about Arava. What was he telling me? The Maratzim, the Aravis. Oh! Baruch Hashem, I was trying to think about it as I was talking, and usually it doesn't work. That's not how my brain works. Once it's gone, it's gone. 20 seconds later, it's over. He said from some Rebbe, that I don't remember. Maybe it was the one from Netanya, the Kloisenberg. He says, what do you do with an esrig? What do you do with an esrig? The esrig resembles the Talmid Chacham, and he also does a lot of chesed during the day. What do you do with it? After Sukkot, you make jam out of it. What do you do with the lulav? You burn it. You burn it on every Pesach. What do you do with the adasim? You try to make it for psamim. What do you do with the aravas, the amaratzim? You throw it on the Aron Kodesh. Yeah. That's why those who makbid to take, I'm just being moisif now as they're speaking. Those who are makbid to take those aravas and they beat them up. You're an amaretz. We don't. We do it with edelkeit. We go like this. Like the Mishnah Berurah says to do it. The kids love to if you don't get all the leaves off, that's wrong. That's not halacha. Halacha is, you got to wake him up a little bit. Amaretz, here, come to the shir. But you don't hurt him. Zog the Gemara. Oh! You hear what he's saying? You take that rava, you put it into water, in mayim elotoiro, and you replant it, and it grows. And it grows more amaratzim. So how do we explain that? So somebody else is going to have to finish the Dvar Torah a different way. Tomorrow we'll have another. You'll have to come up with a new one tomorrow. But very nice. You give it new life. You give it chayim. Listen, that Amaris is not going to be the Golador. Maybe he will be. But as him, you're going to give him life. He's all brown already. You know those guys? It's unbelievable. They have the $400,000 car, but their aravis are black like mamish, like the Come on, just buy an extra pair of Aravas before that. Okay, fine. Huh? Yeah. Aravas need to be by. Okay, fine. Next. Let's go. Rabbi Isai. We have Menali Omer Shmuel Trey Korik see this two psukim. Mahi. Omer Rabba Shlishi. Zeu Chutz Zmanoi. So we go back to that pasuk. Shlishi over here means, we said, everybody over here scream out. Third is time. 3 is time, not a place. So therefore, it's referring to Zeu Chutz Zmanoi. Pigol. The word pigol in this pasuk, Zeu Chutz Zmanoi. It's referring to thinking about doing the zrika outside of its allotted place or eating outside of the place. And then if you look at the last line, it's mimenu, from one of those two. Which one of those two? It's telling you that chutz zman gets kares, but not chutz koimai. As the Gemara, the obvious thing, we need to understand the behind the scenes over here. Who told you? Maybe mimenu means that chutz koimai gets kares and chutz zman doesn't get kares. Says Gemara, I'll tell you why chutz zman gets kares. The pasach bay. Because the pasuk started out. That's how the pasuk. So the Torah is very makbid on that because that's how we started. The but think about it. It says you get kares right by the pigul, the word pigul, and then right away if it's mechutz makim you get kares. Omar Rav Somach Adatani Tana. We have another pasuk. Let me just show you the pasuk real quickly, and then I'm going to switch to a double screen here. This is the same pasuk, same idea. That's the short pasuk in Kedoshim. Now both of them together. You have the long one and the short one. Aruch and Kedoshim. So he says. We already have the long pasuk. Why do I need to say the pasuk again? Pasuk, the long one is in Parshas Tzav Perek Zayin. This is in Parshas Kedoshim, Parshas Yutes. Why does there have to repeat itself? Daf Chav Ches, Amud Beis. Okay, so the first pasuk is talking about Chutz Zman. The second pasuk is talking about Chutz Makom. Now we do the sponsorships. Adar Global Specialists in International Financial Services, Anonymous, as the Schus Vatzloch and Ruchnis and Gashmis, Anonymous, and the Schus in support of Torah, that all tests should come back 100% healthy for me and my family. Okay. So, we have the two psukim. Now we're doing something interesting. Umid Rachmana Gabi Noisar. Check this out. This is Pasuk Zayin, yeah? In Kedoshim, Pasuk Zayin. Let me show it to you again, blown up. You see, Pasuk Zayin. Pasuk Zayin, you're all masking is Pasuk Zayin. Look what it says in Pasuk Ches. The next Pasuk. V'oichlav, Avoyna Yisok, is Kodesh Hashem Chilo, v'nichrus ha'arevesh ha'im ha'amel. Pasuk Zayin, you're telling me, he's talking about Chutz l'makom, and then it says Pasuk Ches, V'oichlav, Avoyna Yisok, is what's going on here? Chutz l'makom has kares? No, Chutz l'makom doesn't have kares. So what's Pasuk Ches talking about? Pasuk Ches is talking about something else. Pasuk Ches is talking about, I'm going to show you the picture, you tell me what it is. Look what happens to this thing.
Go away! Let me sleep!
What is that? Noiser. That's a different thing. It's not a machshava. It's if you literally leave the meat overnight, to the next day, to the day that's also to eat, and you eat it, you get kares. Oh, so now I know that Pasuk Ches is talking about Noisar. And Pasuk Zayin, I want to say, is talking about Chuslim Koimet. So the Gemara says like this: Umi Rachmon Gabi Noisar v'oichlav avoyni yiso v'oichlav. Only this kind of guy gets kares. He ate this steak that wanted to sleep overnight. Look at the Chuslim Koimet, and it comes to exclude the pasuk right before it that the Chuslim Koimet does not get kares. As the Gemara ve'ema v'oichlav avoyni yiso zo Chuslim Koimet. Who told you? I'm reading the pasuk with you right here. Does it say anything about Noiser in this pasuk? It says, in fact, Noiser is like pasuk Hey. I don't even remember. It's like way before. It's before the Pigul psukim. So maybe V'oichlav Avoyna V'yisa is referring to Chutz Makom. You get kares. Who told you? Where'd you get it from? Ulemuti noiser mekaris. If a carrot, maybe it's coming to say only this one gets karis, which is chutz l'makom, but not noiser. Says the Gemara, Mistaber noiser havelei leukim mekaris. It makes much more sense to say noiser gets karis. Lemigmar ovain lechutz lezmani dedomi lebezov. What is going on here? Because look, it says va'ichlav avoyna yisa. And it also says by chutz lezman. Check this out. It says avoyna. So now I have Gzeir Shava between Noisar and Chutz Lezman. It's a very interesting limud. So I must say that pasuk Ches is talking about Noisar, so that I could tell you that Chutz Lezman is also chorus. They're both chorus. You hear what's going on here? It's interesting. How do I know the pasuk Ches is talking about Noisar? Because otherwise, how am I going to know that Chutz Lezman gets chorus? So since pasuk Ches is chorus and it says the same word that it says by Chutz Lezman, so now it makes a lot of sense. But the Gemara is going to ask the obvious question. Maybe it's talking about chutz l'makom and it gets kares, and chutz l'zman gets kares. Also a good idea. So says the Gemara, Mistaber nois haveli lukim bekares ligmigmar ovain lechutz l'zman dedame lebezov. Chutz l'zman and noisar are very, very similar. Why are they similar? If we thought about it ourselves, we would come up with the same thing. Noisar, what's noisar? I'm going to eat it the following day. What's pigul? Chutz Lezman. He thinks in his mind he's going to eat it the next day. So they're both about the next day. So that's zav. Zman. They're both similar in terms of zman and also in terms of abama. That they both are bad. You could have a bad thought about abama, that I'm going to eat it outside of the allotted time. Whereas outside of the allotted place, Rabbi Yisai does not work in abama. You can't have a bad thought about abama when it comes to place, because Obama is in a bad place. It's in somebody's backyard in Tom's River. Here. Not a Tesla. It's a Ferrari. That's Obama. No, it's a house. It's in Tom's River. They have the same house in Tom's River. Those houses are not England, they're Paris, it's France, but it's a fine.
I serve. Got it. Coming back at you.
Oh.
Hey, I told you, don't mess.
What is that? What is he? I didn't get it. Oh, he's the carbon that was on the bama. I like him over here. This guy's good. Okay, fine. Bekitzer, that's a bama. Bama is a backyard. Somebody had a taina that we put him his bech in somebody's backyard. It's a bama. Fine. So since chutz l'zman and nois are very similar, so it makes sense that they're both karas and that you learn one from the other. Says Gemara Adarabe chutz l'makom haveli. Look me bekares. No, it makes why chutz l'zman? Say chutz l'makom gets kares. Migmar oven lechutz l'zman the domele b'migdash. Why don't you just say that both chutz l'zman and chutz l'makom? Here we go. Check this out. It's the same thing. Okay. Why don't you just say both psukim are here? No. We did this, right? One pasuk here. V'mocha yochel is chutz l'zman, and noisar. That's what we did a second ago. Noisar is v'oichlav avoni yisa, and because you have the oven, now it makes sense. It goes together. So ask the Gemara, why would you say that? Just say that one is chutz l'zman and one is chutz l'makom. V'oichlav avoni yisa is chutz l'makom, and it has kares v'nichrasa. And you compare the chutz l'zman and chutz l'makom. Why compare chutz l'zman to noisar? Compare chutz l'zman to chutz l'makom. And I have a reason to say that, because guess what? Chutz l'zman and chutz l'makom are very, very similar in four things. Migdash, machshava, they both occur in the mind. Noisar does not occur in the mind. Noisar is a physical thing. You left it overnight. But chutz l'zman and chutz l'makom are both in the head. Ktsas, only partial. Dam, they're both all through the avodas of the four avodas. And shlishi, they both have the word shlishi in the pasuk. Says the Gemara Adarabba, Aricha, no, I just skipped. Hello, Adrab. No. I'm done. I can't find it. Oh, Bamis. Elo Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Oh, I thought we were way past that. Elo Amar Rabbi Yochanan Tani Zavdi Bar Levi. Zavdi Bar Levi said, Asya Kodesh Kodesh. I learned that Noiser is Kares because I have something called, check this out, the word Kodesh, two psukim that are referring to Noiser. One says, Voichla Avoni Yisa Kis Kodesh Hashem Chilo. That's the pasuk we were talking about. And it doesn't say the word Kares here. But it does say, I'm sorry, it says Kares, but it doesn't say Noiser, right? It doesn't say the word Noiser. But in the first pasuk on the right, it does say the word Noiser, and it says Kodesh, but it doesn't say Nichrosa. So because it says Kodesh, and in the pasuk where it says Kares, it says Kodesh, Kodesh, and Kodesh, that's how I know that Noiser gets Kares. I never understood why the Gemara does this, to save some words, but the main word in this pasuk is the word Kodesh, and it's missing. It says V'goymer. You're supposed to know this by yourself. That's why, luckily, we have it over here on the screen. It says Kodesh all the way at the end of the pasuk. Both psukim we're talking about. And the Torah says only Noiser gets Kares, and not the pasuk right before, which is pasuk Zayin, which is Chutzim Koyma, does not get Kares. Ask the Gemara, my chaz is the Korariko b'chutz l'zmanu shlishi b'parshas klishim tu Chutzim Koyma. Check this out, Rabbi Sai. Oh, you look at the screen. Chutz l'zman, it's going to be magic. Watch it. I did this myself. Chutz l'zman is on the right. Chutz l'makoim is on the left. Who told you? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. They're messing with me. Don't worry. They're not really clapping. So, because usually Yoshi does a whole Kishay Yoshi. It's in the morning. Who told? Maybe the passing on the right is Chutz l'makom, and that's the one that you get Kares for because it matches up with Noisar. They both have the word Avayna, and Chutz l'zman is from the small pasuk from Kedoshim v'meochi yachim v'shlishi Pigulu. It's Chutz l'zman. You don't get Kares. Who told you to do it like that? Says the Gemara, Adarabo, Aricha. Did I skip? Ebachano. Says the Gemara, Mistabra, Aricha b'chutz l'zmanoi. It's much better. Let's go back. Chutz l'zman is the long one. Why? Mistabra, Aricha chutz l'zmanoi. The Gomer oven menoisa the domile bezov. Because chutz l'zman is similar to noisar in the fact that it's zman and bama. Adarabo, Aricha b'chutz l'makoimoi. Say that the pasuk is talking about chutz l'makoim. Ushlishi the Kedoshim tiyu b'chutz l'zmanoi. Yeah, do this. Why? Mishum de domile samchei v'kamem ma'idle. Since chutz l'zman is so similar to noisar, that's why the Torah put it right there next to noisar. Like we have it over here, that the small pasuk is talking about chutz l'zman, pasuk zayin, which is right next to pasuk ches, which is noisar, to tell us that chutz l'zman does not get kares. Only, what's the lashon in pasuk ches? Va'oichlav. Only this one avoyna yisa. It's a special meat in pasuk ches that only noisar gets kares and not chutz l'zman. Because it's so similar to noisar, that's why maybe that's why the Torah made pasuk zayin chutz l'zman, not chutz l'makom. Oh, and here it goes. This is very simple till the end of the Amud, and that's all we're doing today. Elo Amarava. Here goes all the limudim one after another. Does anybody know what this is? I couldn't figure this out yet. I should have listened to my messages. Shlom chatas. And he poured it in there by mistake. I don't know. What sugya is this? Usually somebody could figure it out for me. No? Anybody? Any Val Kishrin? Nothing? Okay. Okay. Now let's see the pasuk word by word here. Eight limudim at least. I didn't know what to do. Maybe Yoshi can make it a little bit better. Every word is a different color. Here we go. Elo Amarava, it's going to go fast. Kulu Mikra Aricha Asyan, we all learn it. We learn all these limudim. Forget the second pasuk, forget the shorter pasuk. We're learning everything out of one pasuk. Similar to what we said on Amud Aleph. First limud is in red, double lashon of eating. Why two lashonos of eating? That's what we know until now. There's two eatings. Yes, there's the human eating, and there's the mizbeach eating. Echad achilas adam, v'echad achilas mizbeach, referring to the imurim on the mizbeach. Now, mepsar shlamav in green, ma shlamim mifaglim umispaglim. There's two components. You need the blood. To think about this blood, you're going to sprinkle it on the mizbeach in 5 days from now. That's the mifagel, and this is mispagel. The rest of the animal becomes pigel. So you need two components. You need blood and the rest of the animal. And that comes to exclude, says Rashi, 3 menachas, that you put the entire thing on the mizbeach, so there's no two components. It's only one component. Like the mincha of a kohen, of the kohen gadol. Mashlam mifaglim mispaglim. I've called mifaglim mispaglim. It has to be something that you have a component that you do the pigel with, and the rest of the animal, the rest of the cover becomes a pigel. Shlishi, what do you do with the word shlishi in purple? Zeh chutz l'zmano. That's how you learn. Rabbi say chutz l'zmano. Here we go. Chutz l'zmano. That's what you all said in the beginning of the shir. Shlishi means Shalom Aleichem, all the way in the back in the corner. Shalom Aleichem with the reddish beard. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Eitan? Van? Oh, you're Van's son, and I met you already in the base measures. Got it. And that's your uncle. Got it. Huh? What do you call yourself? You didn't even know he's here. Small world. Mamsh, small world. What do you call yourself? Truck or what? No. What does the world call you? Yiddish truck. Trucker Yitz? That's your official name? Shkoyach. By the way, he gave me money for a monthly in cash. Truckers work in cash? That's how it works? The IRS watches this. Just to... Okay. Shkoyach. We said it. Now, Lo Yeratza is in red. The beginning of the line. Kartzas kosher, kein artzas pasul. That what? Umartzas kosher at shikrivu kol matir. This is a very super interesting halacha. If a kohen has in mind to eat this carbon outside the allotted time, in 6 months from now, and he ate the meat right now, right after he had the machshava, does he get karas or not? He did shchita and he thinks, I'm going to eat this meat in a year from now, and then he bites right into it. Is he over on pigel or not? That is pigel. Wrong. Not. Why? Because he didn't do zrika yet. You must do zrika. Trick question. Sorry. Why? How do we know this? It's from this pasuk. You need a pasuk for it. Without the pasuk, you'd say like Aryeh. You need all 4 avodos. In other words, you need to do zrika. Hamakriv ba'akrova, and then it says hamakriv. That's in black, gray. Hamakriv ba'akrova hu nifsal ve'inu nifsal b'shlishi. Let's say you didn't think about a thought about when to eat it. You just literally ate it on the 3rd day. You don't go backwards. You don't reverse it and say, oh, this happens to be pigel. Now that says oisai in purple. Bezevach hakosim medaber. What? What did I say? Noisar not pigel. Oisai bazevach hakosim medaber ve'enoi medaber bekoyin. In other words, that the pigel, what goes wrong here? The kohen is a bad guy. He did something bad, inappropriate. So what did he do? He caused the animal to go bad, but he himself doesn't go bad. Shomalech, I don't think I said Mazel Tov to you. Rabbi Kalari, on the Chasana. Well, how long ago was it? It was a month ago. It's still in the Shloshim, no? No, because the Chasana is also, you got the day of, it's like Oinan, then you have the 7, Shev Brachos, then you have 30, then you have the year. It's much like the same thing. Finally, we're going to finish over here, Rabbi Isai. The kohen himself doesn't go bad, only the carbon goes bad. Let's just do one more. Lo yechoshev, lo ya'arev boy machshavis acherois, lo yechoshev over here. Where do I have it in red? That we learned. That's a beautiful halacha. That pigul has to be pure. You can't think about other psulim. It has to be just pigul. Rabbi Sai, a guten moed. Thank you for coming. Thank you all the guests. Thank you for all the people that are involved in making this happen. Tomorrow, Rabbi Sai, Birkas HaMazon. Birkas HaMazon, we're going to do a Zimu now. And tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, same time, 10:15, in the sukkah with food.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.